Hello, and welcome to an introduction to REDCap database entry for the PAUSE study. Over the next few minutes, we'll be going over how to find our way around REDCap, how to enter forms, and how to schedule patients. So you're going to begin on the REDCap login screen. Entering your assigned username and password should take you to the REDCap welcome page, which is seen here. Click on the tab titled My Projects, and from here, you can enter the PAUSE study. This will bring us to the PAUSE homepage. Today I'm logged in as a coordinator from Site 232, but your screen should look similar to this one. On the left-hand side of the screen are several helpful links to take us to various places in REDCap. My Projects will bring us back to the project screen that we've seen before, so I'm not going to click on it. Project Home will bring you back to this page, which is this page right here, if you ever need to go back to home base. Clicking on Scheduling will bring you to the follow-up scheduler, which we will come back to later. Data exports, reports, and stats will bring you to the report generator, which is seen here. This is a really helpful tool if you want to see statistics for your site on a field-by-field basis. File repository is your source for valuable PAUSE study information and forms. Here you can download training slides, download operations and lab manuals. You can also download the PAUSE protocol, as well as CRFs, blood processing forms, screening logs, and all kinds of adverse event forms. All you have to do is click on this white paper with the green arrow, and that will download the papers or the documents, and then you can save any of the ones that you need to your own desktop. So let's say we've just enrolled a patient and we have their paper CRF and we want to make a REDCap record for them. You're going to click on Add Edit Records, and then you're going to click on Add New Record. The study ID for this new patient should be assigned automatically up here in sequential order each time you create a new record. So we're going to enter the enrollment and data entry form because this is the first one that we're going to fill out. And you can see the study ID up here again, so it's the same. From here, we're going to fill out all required information on this whole form. And we know that sometimes you don't have time right at the point of enrollment to complete the entire form. But please enter the following important information because this is the most pertinent to us and to the study. What novel oral anticoagulant, which we're calling a DOAC now. So let's say this person's on dabigatran and 110 milligrams twice daily. So we're going to go down to creatinine clearance. That's the next important field. The next important field is the planned date and time of the surgery or procedure, and the planned date and time of the last dose. So let's just say that the planned date and time of the procedure is the 31st, and the planned date of the last dose is today, so they're going to be skipping that one day. The next important information is the type of planned surgery, as well as the digits for this surgery, so we know if it's by our guide standards, low or high risk. Then please answer your assessed low or high bleed risk for the surgery, and the number of days of anticoagulant to be skipped. Those are the most important things right away, although we do require that the whole form is filled out eventually. It's important that these 9 fields in particular are entered as soon as possible because they are checked regularly for newly enrolled patients. This is to ensure that the interruption of DOAC is planned correctly, and this minimizes the number of patients that deviate from protocol or should be discontinued. Another important thing to keep in mind when completing the enrollment form is the eligibility criteria under Section 2, Screening and Consent, so under this one. Fields 1 through 5 should be yes, and fields 6 and 7 should be no. Otherwise, the patient is not eligible for the study, so just be sure to check that when you're entering them. Another important field is height and weight because this helps with the creatinine clearance. If, for some reason, these 2 fields are unknown, you can enter 999. So somebody it's been unknown before, it'll say that the value is outside the range, but that's okay. We know it is because it's unknown. It's not supposed to be a real value. Down here, further down the page where it asks for the hemoglobin value, a new hemoglobin blood test is not required for this study, but we do need a value for hemoglobin. So you can enter the most recent value for their hemoglobin within the last 6 months. Everything else on this form should be fairly straightforward. So we don't anticipate that you'll have any troubles with that, provided that you are following the DOAC interruption protocol for the surgery risk. Please note that any of these fields with a red asterisk denote a required field. You can save and exit this form or any form without completing this field in particular, but REDCap will provide you with a warning message, which I'll show you when we save record. And please be sure to save your record before exiting every time so that you don't lose changes. So we're going to click Save Record. All of these required fields are empty, which we know. If you need to go back and enter one, you can just push OK, or you can say Ignore and Leave Record. So now we've entered a record, and let's say maybe we want to make a schedule. So this is like a really helpful function that lets you schedule patients based on their date of surgery. So we're going to click on Scheduler. And whenever we do create a schedule, it lets you see your month at a glance in the calendar, including when follow-ups should be completed for each patient. So to create a new schedule, we're going to choose Existing Unscheduled Patient from the drop-down menu. And we're going to do 2/32/3/11 because that's what we just did. Then you're going to enter their start date, as the date of surgery. So we said the date of surgery was going to be on March 31st. We're going to enter that as a start date. That's why it also says it up here in the name of the project. Then we're going to put Generate Schedule. Here's the schedule it generates. Sometimes maybe the schedule doesn't work for you, so you can change things around, or you don't want some of these follow-up reminders, that's fine. But let's say we're really happy with this and we want to keep it, so we're going to click Create Schedule. And now we can go to the calendar. So clicking on the calendar will bring us to your calendar, obviously, where you can see all of your scheduled events for the month. So Site 232 has a lot going on this month, but 3/11 is the one we just entered, and it's showing us that that's the date of surgery. And then if we go into April, we can see that it's giving us a reminder for each of these days of when the follow-up should be. Please bear in mind that this is not a required tool, so we don't ask that you do this, but it is really helpful for staying on top of your follow-ups. Now let's say you've already enrolled a patient and you've finished their scheduling and they've had their surgery, so you're ready to enter that information into the surgery form, or maybe they've already had surgery and you're ready to enter follow-up forms. You can go to the record status dashboard and find the study ID of the patient whose record is being updated. So we're doing 3/11, we can go down here and then we'll scroll. So here's 2/32/3/11, that's great. So once found, you can click on their study ID to be taken to their individual dashboard, and then you can click on the circle for the form that needs to be updated, or you can directly click on the corresponding circle for the form that needs to be updated from the record status dashboard. So you can click here and it'll take you to their individual record, or you can click here and it'll take you to the individual form. So we know we want to do this form, we're going to go here. So here we are at this form. You're going to fill out all the forms like they ask. Over here are two important fields in case the surgery is canceled and not rescheduled. So just bear those in mind. Again, clicking here on the study ID will bring us to their individual dashboard, and then we can go from form to form to form if we want. So when a patient has completely finished the study, let's say that all of this stuff is blank. I mean, obviously not blank, it's all filled in. Then we're going to be doing a completion form. Every single patient needs to have a completion form done, even if they've been discontinued, lost to follow-up, even if they've passed away, or have not completed the study for any reason. So here is the completion form across here. And you can check yes or no up here, depending on whether or not they had surgery and completed the study. And then you're going to fill out the rest of the form accordingly, being sure to enter your name at the bottom of the page and then clicking save, of course. So if they don't have surgery, it'll ask you why they didn't have surgery and complete the study. So maybe they didn't have surgery, but they did complete the study. It's still a no. And then we're going to go down here. So the surgery was canceled, but they had their NOAC interrupted. That would be a reason. Maybe they didn't have surgery, but they did complete the study. If everything was good and everything was normal, yep, we can cancel that. Then we just put yes, and you enter everything else accordingly. So we're going to click Save Record now because this one's done. And we know that there's blanks, so we can ignore and leave the record. And let's say all of this stuff is complete, including the completion form, then congratulations, you have entered a complete patient record for the pause study. Please note that we expect all forms from enrollment to completion to be completed by 6 weeks after the date of surgery. This allows 4 weeks for the follow-ups, and then a 2-week grace period to enter any of the other missing information. If for some reason it takes a bit longer than 6 weeks just because the patient isn't answering your phone calls, then we understand. So overall, this concludes our introduction to the REDCap database. If you're interested in learning more about the PAUSE study, you can take a look at some of our other videos, including a protocol review video and a practice scenarios and frequently asked questions video. Thanks for watching.